Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Start in the ACC, boys. And let's start with Tyler's North Carolina Tar Heels. Going on the road at a tough place to play. The Pete's not easy against Pitt. They're young. It was an ugly game early. Defensive minded first half. Carolina, I think, missed their first 10 shots, but they come out with a win, and they're 10-3 now. They're 2-0 in the league. Tyler, by the way, what's up with it being their first true road game and it's January? Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Hey, we're starting this stretch with 3 road games in a row, so we're making up for it quick. But I will say, Pitt has been a tough opponent for us. They've had our number the past couple of years, and especially for this team who struggled on the road, we didn't want to schedule too many road games early on. We want to get our confidence up, but it's going to be tough. We have 3 tough road games coming up. And we started off tonight with the good win at Pitt. And I think the reason this win was so good is because we needed somebody off the bench to come up and play a big role. And I think Seth Trimble, especially these past couple games, has really gotten his confidence and come in and given this team a positive boost. And he's doing it from the defensive end, which to me is when you impact the game without scoring, especially now when there's such an emphasis on young kids to score. I think it's a big plus. So this was a big win for our Tar Heels.
You know, I like Trimble. When I saw him a couple summers ago, Josh, I liked him. And Hubert really didn't go to his bench much last year. Tyler talked about this a lot last year. And Hubert said he was going to try to go to his bench, and he never really felt comfortable going to Trimble, going to Jalen Washington, who was hurt for part of last season. How important do you think it is for this Carolina team this year to be able to get somebody like Trimble off the bench? You're not quite as reliant. You are relying on these main 5 guys. Don't get it wrong. But again, you got to have a bench that can come in and help if one of these guys isn't producing or somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, well, obviously, Jeff, being able to go to your bench like Coach Davis did today, and with Trimble, he was really good. I mean, he helped him, give him a spark. It was one of those games. It was kind of a rugged, just physical, kind of an old school type of game, almost like one of those stereotype of the old Big East games in a sense. And but Carolina found a way, and they really did it in second chance points on the glass, where Pitt has been really good. I think the best in the ACC at really, and one of the best in the country at not giving up second chance points, and also offensive rebounding themselves. But this evening, Carolina was so good in that area, 15-1 advantage in second chance points. And that's what kind of Carolina has done. Now, when you're talking about last year, Trimble didn't maybe get as much run, or Coach Davis not using the bench as much. I think obviously they were so focused on, because they had pretty much their whole team back besides Brady Manick from coming off the championship game, that they were just running with those, kind of main guys with Love and Davis and Baycott and just kind of their top 5, 6 guys really, and just letting them play. So I think this year he's gone deeper into his bench. And credit to Carolina, Jeff and Tyler, that here they come off of, this is their 3rd straight win. They did lose to Connecticut and Kentucky in back-to-back losses. People were, again, questioning, hey, is Carolina going to have the same type of year as they did last year? But it looks like they're a legit top 10 team right now. And Saturday's game against Clemson is, I know it's January, whatever the date will be, January, whatever it is, but that could be the game of the year to this point, for at least in the ACC, because that could set the tone on who's going to be the front runner to win the ACC league championship.
So, Tyler, one of the things that I hated watching about Carolina for the better part of the last 2 years, they turned it on 2 years ago, but was the body language and the it just didn't feel like they were fun to watch, to be honest. And I said this publicly over and over and over. How much different is it? You watch this team every game, every minute. Do you enjoy watching this team? How is this team different, do you think, in terms of their togetherness than maybe the last 2, or just the emotion, the intensity they play with?
Well, for me, I don't think any year will ever top how much I've yelled at the TV. And a lot of that had to do with their body language and their effort. And I've always said, hey, you know what? I can handle losing, but if you're going to lose with bad body language and lack of effort, that's not going to sit well with a lot of people. And a lot of Carolina fans felt the same way you did, Jeff. And I'm not seeing that this year. I think this team has better chemistry. And I do think, Caleb Love is having a heck of a year. And I think him transferring sometimes a new scenery and kind of a new atmosphere does a lot for a lot of people. And also, I don't think R.J. Davis has been playing with this type of confidence or this level of consistency in his life. I mean, he's arguably one of the best guards in the country right now. He's scoring every night. He's a reliable guy you can go to get a basket. And also, you've also got to talk about Harrison Ingram and his addition to this team. He gives Carolina the ability to do a lot with lineups. He could play stretch 4. He could play the 3. He could actually play the 5. He's been better than advertised coming in, and he's been a big factor for this team. He's playing well. So I think all that has a factor, and their chemistry is much better this year. Their body language is much better, and it seems like they're a much more together team. So it's very positive from that aspect.
And
sometimes
Jeff,
they run their course, right? Like Caleb Love, I think it just ran its course in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, and I was going to add on to what Tyler said just on Carolina. Two things. One is in basketball, unlike other sports, you don't need 7 studs. I mean, 7 elite guys, 7 great players. Yes, we all want that as coaches, but the reality of it is if you have 2 really, really, really good players and then everybody else just kind of do their job, fit their role, kind of like what Trimble did today. Yes, he's a very good player. Ingram's a good player. But if you get what I'm saying, and you look at the 2 stars of their team are Davis and Baycott, to win in basketball, that's you can survive on that and win a lot. That's one. 2 is Baycott is, he's a different player than Tyler was, but in the same realm in a sense that you can count on his production night in, night out as being literally a double-double machine. And that is a thing to have. Like he scored over 2,000 points. He got his 2,000th point tonight. I mean, to have that type of, for Coach
Look at that
Davis.
chart. Look at who somehow got to number 1 there.
I mean, that's pretty impressive by Tyler, and to do it in 4 years, by the way. I think this is Armando's 5th year, so there's probably a little asterisk to that because him for Tyler to do that in 4 years. But Armando is so good at just a comfort level for Coach Davis, and then you have a guard like that. You don't need. Look, we all want 7, 8, 9, great players, but you need really just 2 or 3 of them, and then everyone else doing their job, and that's what Carolina has right now, and that's. That's why I think Saturday's game is going to set the tone for the league race on who's going to be the front runner to be in the driver's seat for the league title.
Yeah, Armando Baycott goes over 2,000 tonight. He is, basically 141 away from moving into 3rd place all time. Now, it's a little bit different because he's already played more games than you, Tyler. He's played 145
games. Well, he's
games
got his 5th year COVID. How do you look at it, Jeff, with his 5th year COVID? Do you think is that an asterisk in your? I don't think it's an asterisk, but I understand the COVID year gives everyone an extra year.
No, I think it's an asterisk. I absolutely do. I think all these records that are 5 years, it's just not the same. It's not the same, and we're never going to see anything like it again. So I think it's gotta have something next to it. And I love Mondo. Tyler knows that. Tyler loves Mondo, like we all do, because again, I think he comes to work pretty much every night, and puts his hard hat on. He's not the most talented guy in the world, but he plays hard, and he has accepted his role this year. A lot of guys would have come back and probably wanted to try to be the guy again and been upset with the offense not revolving around him, but it's clearly better right now with R.J. Davis having the freedom that Tyler talked about. Like with Caleb, he didn't have that. He didn't have the opportunity. He also didn't have somebody setting them up like Elliot Cadeau can set guys up. So it makes life a little bit easier knowing if you give up the ball, you're going to get it back with some of these guys. Where with Caleb Love, frankly, you just didn't know if you were ever – in fact, I think you thought when you gave it to him, you probably weren't going to get it back last year. So it did make it harder if you're
And it's
playing with
worked, and
somebody
it's
like
worked out for it's worked out for Arizona because the
Totally.
way they're playing with Caleb, and it's worked out
Absolutely.
for Carolina. It's addition by subtraction for both parties,
Yes.
basically.
Yes. Tyler loves my no bullshit mentality. We're very similar, Tyler. You know that. That's why we get along so well. I'm going to say it the way it is. Yes, I'm going to offend some people. And I apologized to Caleb earlier this year when I saw him after the Duke game and said, listen, bottom line is you're a lot more fun to watch this year when you're guarding and when you're making better decisions, period. And I think he heard the people talking about it. And I'm sure, you know, with everything that happened at Michigan, not getting in there and, you know, landing at Arizona, he's been much better. He's been one of the top transfers in the country this year.
Absolutely.
All
I'm
right,
happy for Caleb too. So
Me too. Listen, nobody says a bad word about Caleb as a kid. He was just hard to watch last year, but he wasn't alone. He was not alone.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.